Hello everyone, I'm Msgr Jamie, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Bread, where I bring together life's most important ingredients: faith, family, friends, and of course, food. Today on our show, I have Mr. Al Lambert. He has a television show for over 15 years. He opened up for Rodney Dangerfield, and he's also a cousin of Father Capodanno. I'm so happy to have him on my show today.
Msgr, I look forward to enjoying your escarole concoction, and I heard that it may not be pie, but it's going to be even better than the pie, and I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome, Al. Boy, you have some resume, let me tell you.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you're old.
Come a little closer. I don't bite. Okay. I like to eat, but I don't bite.
That's all right.
So tell me, I mean, you come from Staten Island.
Yes.
Staten Italy.
Because
all the Italians moved to Staten Island before they moved to Jersey.
Absolutely right. If it wasn't for Staten Island and Brooklyn, there'd be no Jersey.
Exactly.
Just so you know,
right.
None of that would happen.
So now you're a singer.
I'm a singer.
Okay, and you have a show for over 15 years?
Well, television show on it's called now Community Media of Staten Island. They changed their name to CTV.
You have entertainers on, you sing?
Originally it was people who help people, because I'm very involved in the community raising funds for charities. I've been doing that for 50 years.
Join the club.
Over $2 million in my career.
Wonderful.
And the show was based on bringing people who are in need and exposing them to an audience to actually get more money for their charity. But being an entertainer, it morphed into entertainment also.
Well, I'm a fundraiser. I raise money for our Catholic schools, our parish, Catholic charity, all these different programs, exactly, that are needed. And I use my skills, you use your voice,
exactly.
I use my cooking skills to do that, to get the message out. And I have on my show so many different people of faith, so many chefs and business people that give back to the community. So not only are we cooking and showing the importance of coming together and breaking bread, but also what we do in life, how we give back and how we help people. And I think we use the gifts that God has given to us.
Someday I'd like to have you on my show as a guest.
I'm a little camera shy, but I'll make the effort.
I can
see that. You are the cousin of Father Capodanno.
Correct. My grandma and his mom were sisters.
Okay.
And my grandmother actually baptized him. And it's funny, my grandmother actually went to release time in Brooklyn and New York with Mother Cabrini.
Really?
So my grandmother was under the tutelage as a child of Mother Cabrini, and she winds up having a nephew who's now in the run for sainthood.
Wow.
My grandmother was sandwiched in between these two saints.
At the time when she was voted as one of the most important women influence in New York, she was taken off the list. We highlighted her in the Columbus Day Parade, interest in Mother Cabrini. And it helped, and then the premiere of Cabrini was filmed right here at the Emmaus Center, which I was very much influential in putting out there. Also working with Craig Tubiolo to put together a major movie on Father Capodanno. And it's interesting, the connection there.
Right,
that's
it's
wonderful.
An amazing connection. Father Capodanno's life, the son of an Italian immigrant, and hits the worldwide stage, not because he wanted to.
Humble man.
Humble man. Yeah.
I always remember as a kid, I'm showing my age, when they opened up the Verrazano Bridge.
Yeah.
And my aunt and uncle moved there, so we used to go visit. And they were down near South Beach. And I remember seeing Father Capodanno Boulevard. Right. And I said, who's Father Capodanno?
To this
for
day.
Years.
Yep.
And now that, I became a priest and I work with different people that have known him, and now the cause for sainthood, and now the possibility of making a movie on him. It's amazing, how it all comes together.
I sang at the opening of the Verrazano Bridge. I was 18 on the Brooklyn side, with John LaCourte was the head of the Italian American Historical Society. And I rehearsed with the Navy band, and there was a song called the Verrazano Bridge Song that I sang.
But you're not Italian.
I am. It was originally Lamberti. I never changed it. It was changed 90 years ago. We're Napoletano Sorrentine.
Okay.
And my mom is a Sicilian. I'm 100%.
Okay, well, we're neighbors, Paisan. My father's side's from Naples and my mother's side's from Puglia. So down south.
We're right there.
And we have the best food around. I don't care what anyone says.
Are you kidding me?
I understand that Father Capodanno loved escarole.
Right.
And that
but
when
we
he would
didn't call it escarole.
What'd you call it?
Scatole.
Yeah, exactly.
And then later on, that became money. They said, you have any scatole?
Scatole, I know that.
Had a lot of terms. But yeah, they made a pie. My aunts made a pie, and my grandmother and his mother. And every time he came home, they all wanted to make the scatole pie for him. So he would be so full after a week of scallop pie, he couldn't even eat it anymore. He loved it, but they all were combating who had the best scallop pie, you know.
I mean, he was a remarkable man.
Well, the thing I always say about Father Vincent, he put his life in jeopardy every minute. It wasn't he was a hero that day. He was a hero every time he appeared on the battlefield.
I've done some reading on him that he always wanted to be out there.
All the time.
You know, and he also got in trouble for being out. You know,
he was a bad boy.
I'm a chaplain for the fire department.
Okay.
And I know that, you know, when we go to fires, anything that's 3 or 4 alarm or higher, we go. And I know I have a tendency, I want to get right there in the action. But my life isn't on the line. I can only imagine a man like Father, where he knew his life was on the line.
Well, they yelled at him constantly. He says, I'm not taking a gun. You got to take a gun. I take a cross. I don't take a gun. Yeah. The day he got killed, he was told in no uncertain terms he can't go. He waited until nobody was looking, jumped on that helicopter.
Wow.
The day he got killed, he wasn't supposed to be there. They took a picture that day. It's a fabulous picture of him. It's used all over the world. That was probably an hour and a half before he got killed.
So important that we remember these stories.
Yeah.
Because there were so many heroes that have been forgotten. People that put their lives on the line every day. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Sure.
And today we're going to make a little dish in his honor.
Okay.
Scaro. It's not scaro pie, but it is pasta and some scaro.
Pasta's got to be great.
Beans.
Yeah, okay,
all right.
good.
I'm going to give you an apron too.
Oh, yeah,
I want you to put this apron on. So
I didn't know whether a jacket or not, so I wore a jacket.
This way you can help me with a little cooking here.
All right.
We'll be back with today's show, and we're going to make a little escarole and pasta in honor of Father Capodanno. Don't go away. Welcome back to this episode of Breaking Bread. I'm here with Mr. Al Lambert, performed for over 5,000 performances, has a television show, and is the cousin of Father Capodanno. And today we're making a dish in his honor, pasta and escarole. I know we love escarole. Is that right, Al?
Loved escarole.
So I'm going to make here a little pasta and escarole. It's a very simple dish. And what I have here, I put in some sausage. I took it out of the casing, some olive oil, and a little bit of garlic. You like garlic?
I do. I'm watching this closely.
Let's see. Put this on high. And I'm going to just saute this a little bit. And this is one of those dishes that's a one-pot dish. Everything gets made in the same pot.
Perfect.
So this is cooking here. And I browned the sausage already with some garlic. And now I'm going to throw in some chicken broth.
Wow.
And we're going to let this, put this on high now. I'm going to let this come to a boil. And then I'm going to throw in some orecchiette. I'm going to cook it right in here. And then I'm going to throw in some escarole and then some beans, cannellini beans.
Gotcha.
I'm sure you must have a lot of stories about Father Capodanno. Stories that most people don't hear or know about.
We did this too, family food and cooking and parties. My father would have a party every time he came home. If you had in-laws, you invited your in-laws, and our family went. Then he went to another person. You invite, and he raised money to build a church for Father Vincent in Vietnam. My dad did that every time he came home and sent money. And he also sent him Chivas Regal. My father was a liquor salesman. And Father Capodanno smoked, and he liked Chivas Regal. But most importantly, the soldiers would come into his tent at night. And he'd keep the tent lit. They would come in and he'd give them
anytime, they all hours, 24/7. Yeah.
Anyway, Paul Newman, Martin Sheen, they lived on Staten Island. It was too expensive in New York, right by the ferry. And then Paul left because he had an opportunity. Martin was still living. He had gotten married. His wife and my aunt were best buddies. That would be Father Vincent's cousin, my father's sister. As she got pregnant, she gets sick. They didn't have time to go to the hospital. So my aunt and another neighbor went into there and delivered
the baby.
Emilio Estefan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a house of entertainers. I mean,
famous people. The way it went. He didn't even know that.
Wow.
Emilio didn't know it, so now he knows it. That's how he was born, right at the Ambassador Apartments on Staten Island by the ferry.
Wow. Well, you have so many stories about him, you know, and these are the things that people don't even know.
They have no clue, yeah.
I'm sure he had a big impact on your life.
He made us all better. Everybody in the family.
When did they name the boulevard in his honor?
70s.
In the 70s.
Borough President Ralph Lambert, whose family lived where the Capodannos lived. They were all friends as kids. He had a feeling for Father Vincent. He got the people to name Capodanno Boulevard. He worked hard in the chapel. There's a chapel there in Staten Island.
Wow.
Staten Island people love Father Capodanno.
Today, you don't hear all the good stories about the church, about priests, about chaplains. And there's chaplains in all throughout the world in all the different areas of the military.
Of course. There's
so
good and bad and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
I see the need on a local level. I can only imagine those who are out on the battlefield and they risk their lives and all. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I just want to show you here, show our audience here. I have the chicken broth here with sauteed sausage and garlic. Now I'm going to throw in some of the escarole. Okay, throw a little bit in here. Okay, we're going to let that simmer for a minute. And
What's next?
Next, we're going to just let this come back to a boil, and then we're going to throw in the orecchiette. We're going to cook it right in there. I'm just going to wait for the escarole to wilt a little bit, because it'll go down to nothing.
Yeah, it goes down, yeah.
And then we're just going to let this simmer. I mean, you can see it's cooking already. I'm going to just throw in some orecchiette.
I love pasta so much, I eat it with kerosene. That's what I tell you.
You know, a lot of times people cook the pasta separate, but some of the dishes, they taste delicious when you cook it right, and the broth and all. That's why when you cook pasta, a lot of people take a little of the pasta water and they put it in. It has all the flavor.
My mother did that all the time.
So we're just going to let this simmer a little bit and put a little bit more in.
And I had an aunt that drank kerosene every day. The old Italian people, I don't know if you knew that. They would take kerosene in a whiskey glass, and she'd come into the garage. My family was in the car business for almost 100 years, and she'd go in the garage and take the whiskey glass and pick it up in the kerosene and drink it.
And it didn't kill them?
No, in fact, they took it because they said it helped with digestion, some of the old Italians.
Well, it clears everything out, huh?
So I'm not kidding when I said pasta and kerosene.
We'll be right back, and we'll continue these stories about Father Capodanno. We're going to taste this escarole and pasta and beans in his honor. Don't go away. Welcome back to this episode of Breaking Bread. I'm here with Al Lambert, who has many, many professions under his belt, has made an impact in society, especially on Staten Island, with his singing, his performances, his relationships with his friends and his community, and being a cousin of Father Capodanno. So Al, welcome back. I made this dish here.
Good to be back. I got to look. Oh my God.
It smells good, right?
Oh, it smells great.
Just to reiterate what we had here, I sauteed some garlic and sausage and olive oil. Then I threw in some chicken broth, escarole, and the orecchiette that was not cooked. I cooked it in the broth. Now I added some cannellini beans, and you can use any type of beans that you would like. And now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Of course, Parmesan cheese.
Gotta be. I'm Mr. Cheese. I love cheese.
A little parsley. A little basil.
Basilico.
Now, if you have fresh, I didn't have fresh. I didn't have time to go out this morning, so I normally don't use dried basil or parsley. And of course, I like a little spice. It's optional. I'm gonna put a little hot pepper. A little bit.
This looks great. A little vino, and we're good.
Now I'm gonna just mix this together, and the pasta cooked in the chicken broth. All the other flavors just married together.
All the difference, makes all the difference.
And this is one of those comfort food dishes with the escarole. I have to say, it smells good and it looks good. And now we're gonna
get to taste it.
Taste a little bit.
My mouth is watering.
It smells good.
Oh God, that looks great.
Okay.
And you're tasting your own thing here for the first time.
Yes. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Excuse us.
It's a little hot temperature-wise. A little spicy. But
it's delicious, actually.
It's delicious. In honor of Father Capodanno. I hope Father Capodanno is looking down upon us. Well, I know he was a very humble man.
He was.
But his story has to be told because of the impact that it will have on so many people's lives. When they see his story, also want to sacrifice for other people.
Right. Well, if you open up the New York News every day, there's probably 60% of the paper is dedicated to people who shot people and killed people.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
My experiment would be if all media for 1 week took all the greatest stories of the week and put them on the front page, in the first 7 pages, you could change the world.
You're right.
We have done it opposite. We use violence to sell papers. If someone had some nerve, they would use great things to sell papers.
And make a difference.
Make a difference. That's Father Vincent's story makes a difference.
Yeah. I want to thank you for all that you do. I'm sure you have affected and changed so many lives by your work, by your entertainment, by your stories, by helping people, and also spreading the news about Father Capodanno.
Yeah, well, I try to do that. I always say entertaining, that's something I do naturally since I'm 5 years old, but I'm a sinner, and I tell her, I'm a sinner.
We're all sinners.
I'm not Father Vincent. I always tried to gear it toward good.
Right.
That's the key. Some people get up in the morning to be nasty, and if they're good, it's inadvertent. Other people get up in the morning to be good, and if they're nasty, it's inadvertent.
Well, you know that story, do good and forget about it. Do bad and think about it. Right?
Okay, I like that one.
But anyway, I want to thank you. I want to give you a copy of my book.
I do want to take it.
Okay, and my tomato sauce that just came out. Msgr Jamie's tomato sauce, a taste of heaven from Brooklyn.
I love it. I can't wait
Not
to
from Staten Island. Not from Staten Island.
Well, most of Staten Island is from Brooklyn.
Well, this is for you.
Thank you. I can't wait to taste it.
Thank you so much, and I will come to see you on your show, talk about the good work that we do, and we can do together.
Absolutely.
And I hope someday to be with you at the premiere of the movie about Father Capodanno.
I pray.
Let's pray for that. Because
I'm with you on that.
Many people will be affected by that, and inspired to make a difference. You talk about being influences in the world.
Right.
People like Father Capodanno is an
influence. Story.
Exactly. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Bread. With Al and all the good work that he has done, we also want to remember in a very special way Father Capodanno. A very humble man, a priest, never thought that he would get this much attention, but he got the attention because he made sacrifices and he was willing to help people even at the cost of his own life. And I pray that one day the world will learn about his story and that he becomes a saint so that he will continue, like in life, even in death, make a difference. See you next time on Breaking Bread.